Welcome back to the Digital Illusion Podcast, where we discuss topics. Yeah, we still do that. Where we discuss topics like we still do this. We're not gone. What do you mean? We weren't gone for like a month. How long?
I think we were gone for, I don't know, 10 years.
Let me go get a look-see back at the last episode posted. August 23rd.
Wow.
We missed an entire month. Welcome back. We're not dead.
Welcome back, more like
welcome front. I'm Brennan. I'm the first host. This is Justin. This is the second host. And
we're smelling toast.
I feel like it. You know what? A month gone, and I still can't get this right. Just
you know what I can't get right?
What's that?
My head.
Oh.
Sponsored by
Sponsored by BetterHelp.
I was gonna lean into it, but I didn't say it. No free advertising.
Yeah, get out of here, BetterHelp, unless you want to sponsor me. I could use some therapy. I would love to use my own discount code. And, okay, we're here in the news subject. Don't worry about that.
Ah!
Thank you. Hey, don't judge us. We've been gone for a month. So if this is old news, don't listen to it then. Okay? There's more interesting stuff. There's more interesting stuff after the news section. First of all, Justin, do you remember a funny old movie called Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I sure do, Brennan.
Well, guess what? It's getting a video game.
No way.
I'm not joking.
Really?
It's gonna be
that movie of all things.
It's gonna be a team battle game.
So it's gonna be a Mario and Rabbids?
Probably. I don't know. It kind of looks like a 4v4 like shooter, third-person shooter.
What?
Yeah. So one team's the humans, one team's the killer clowns.
I hate it already, but you know.
There's not much about the game yet. They just announced it. It's going to be for PlayStation, Steam, and Xbox. So get ready for that if you watched that movie, the 4 people who did.
Yeah, all 4 of you guys that watched that movie.
So technically all 2 of you, because we're the other 2.
We watched it together.
That was a dumb movie.
And a dumb idea.
Except for that one scene where you can kind of see somebody's boob.
Yeah.
There's that.
I was thinking about it. When she like answers the door.
Yeah. It's a special moment in a young boy's day.
It really is.
Xbox. They're talking about how they think that exclusives for consoles are not the future of gaming.
Good.
But these are also the people who are buying they're buying up all the exclusives they can recently.
True.
But my thing about this is I don't think they're buying exclusives for nefarious reasons. Like saying, like, being hypocritical, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think so either. I think, well, because if you look at it, they're them buying Call of Duty, they're respecting the agreement they have for now. Like, exclusivities and stuff, and then they'll change it in the future.
I think the people who want to see a future without exclusives should be the people who are in charge of exclusives.
Yeah, I agree.
I think PlayStation has been one of the biggest exclusive holders for the longest time, and I think that's why Xbox is just sliding in all of their exclusives now, because I honestly think they're just trying to put PlayStation in their place. I think they're like, we'll agree with what we can, like what we have to with Call of Duty for now, but we're going to make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox just to show you what it's like when you hold so many exclusives.
Oh, that would be so petty and awesome.
It would be petty, but let's be honest, I would rather them like hold a lot of exclusives so that they can justify like getting rid of exclusives, you know?
I am 100% in agreement.
Because Xbox has already been pretty exclusive. They're only getting into the
the eggs.
They're already getting into the exclusives because of like how much PlayStation owns. Sorry, that took me a second to like contemplate in my head.
That's okay. You have COVID brain. COVID brain.
You have COVID brain because I'm just normal sick.
You have normal bad brain. I have COVID bad brain.
Well, while we're on the subject of Halo,
I have
COVID. We're not on the subject of Halo, but let's get on to it. Halo. This is pretty old news, but if you haven't known yet, Halo has canceled their couch co-op split screen. What? Yep. Wow, I apparently have COVID brain. They're canceling their split screen for campaign mode.
Yep.
We do know for a fact now that campaign co-op is still happening. It's just not if you have a brother, because if you have a brother, you just kill him. You can only have one.
So you're saying I can't even play online with my brothers?
No, I mean you can play online with your brothers, but if they live with you, you're gonna have to kill one.
Even if we had an Xbox and an Xbox?
No. If they're in the same home, you have to kill one.
Oh.
Yeah. This is a joke. This is a joke.
Everything's satire.
I do want to talk about, because we're finally going to get Forge beta in November.
Yeah, beta.
But I honestly, how do you think Forge should be? Should we get more advanced than what we got in Halo 5, or should we take a step back?
Oh, we should get so advanced that people can put coding into Forge.
Well, here's the thing, they're doing that.
Wow.
I'm not joking. They announced on Instagram that Forge is getting scripts. So
they kind of did some sort of scripting in Halo 5.
They had a form of it in Halo 5. But, I mean, you know how, like, say if you're building a game and you get, like, the bubble, like, the bubbles, and it's like, oh, you drag the little line over to a new bubble and say, if this happens, execute this. It's that level of scripting. They're, like, adding a game builder for Forge, which is really interesting, might be overcomplicated, but the bubble system is actually super effective. I really appreciate the bubble system.
You know why they're doing it, Brennan?
Why is that?
Can I tell you exactly why they're doing it?
I would love for you to.
Are you sure?
You're not telling me why. Please.
Oh, I'll tell you, son. If you give me $1.
Here's $1.
All right, I think the reason they're doing it is because they know that they can't code a very good game at all, so that they're giving it to the public to say, hey, you guys create your own game modes, you make the sustainability of this game, because we can't do it for you, because we suck as a company, and we suck at making video games, and we suck as people.
Yeah, screw you, 343. Give it back to Bungie.
No, Bungie doesn't need it. Let Halo die.
Yeah, just kill it.
Die.
Let it die, let it die. Oh my gosh, yeah, just let Halo die. Honestly, it's getting really sad.
Yeah, it is. It's like watching a horse that has 5 broken legs. Its dick is also broken. 5 broken legs squirm across the floor, and you say, "Hey, we're gonna keep you alive."
Jesus Christ!
You hire people to watch it die. But it's not going to die because it just keeps on going because people are like, I really want to see it, so I'm not going to kill it. So we're just going to keep paying to watch this horse suffer, and we keep watching it suffer, and so far it's just dying even faster. So the guy that owns the horse is releasing big pharmacy medications so that you guys can put it into the horse to make the horse live longer, but all in reality, the horse is still suffering in an immense pain.
And then when it squiggles in the room, there's something on the side of the horse, and you look at it, it's the bonobo emblem that they released for Juneteenth.
Oh, no!
You think we forgot about that, Halo? You're still racist.
Racist Halo. Anyway,
let's move on to a better game. Destiny.
Horse, right?
Yeah, way to beat it. Destiny. We're moving on into a new DLC, Lightfall DLC. You and me have talked a little bit about this. Destiny's going to be moving into possibly just canceling vaulting altogether.
They are, actually. They did announce that they are canceling vaulting, starting with Lightfall.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know this was, like, official.
Yeah, they announced that they are stopping sunsetting. They said, no more sunsetting, everybody. Haha.
Do we know?
Then they said, because we are going to do everything we can to make it as big as possible or whatever, and be able to sustain itself.
Now, I do have a question for you, being the regional... I have a question for you, being the regional expert of Destiny on the podcast.
Oh, yes, of course.
Or just in anywhere. You're expert anywhere. I did hear that they're possibly reworking the light level system. Are they confirmed to continue doing that?
Not necessarily. I haven't heard anything with the light system, actually.
Well, I've been hearing that, like, because of the fact that each season they just progressively raise the light level more and more, eventually they're just going to get to a point the number's just going to be ridiculous. Because I'm pretty sure they've already mapped out, like, the next 8 years of Destiny.
Yeah.
8 or 10 or something like that. They mapped out quite a bit. But the thing is that the light level number is just going to keep getting higher and higher. So I've heard that they're thinking about just making it so each season drops that light level down to 0.
Oh, interesting. I actually haven't heard that. I heard that they were just possibly just getting rid of the level in general kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just going to bring everyone up to a certain thing, and it's kind of just like a you go collect shit, which honestly I am not for, because I do like leveling up.
For me, most of the time, the light level isn't the most important thing. Nowadays, it's more about the stats.
It's never been important, really.
No, nowadays it's more about the stat.
Never been important other than just to access a stupid activity.
Nowadays, it's just like, do you have 100 resilience? That's all you need.
Yep, exactly. No, that's what we're in right now.
Yeah.
What I want to see with the game is getting like spec tokens where you can get rid of some of the points on some piece and put it into another stat on the same piece. So say if you have like 57 mobility, you can get rid of 7 mobility and put it onto, let's say, your 33 resilience.
Yeah.
So you can spec it so it's like 50-40 kind of thing.
I think their whole stat system needs a rework, because I feel like it's just screwing me over more than anything.
Oh, it's mean, man.
It's not forgiving at all. Doesn't matter how much you grind. Like, you just got to get lucky as hell.
Actually, though, there is a way we can grind that.
Really?
We can get you a really high stat level armor. We can talk about that after the
This is for me, okay? Don't worry about this, guys. Anyway, great news. Also,
thanks.
old news. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom is official title for the Breath of the Wild sequel. I am loving that title, but I still wish we didn't get a delay. But at the same time, I'm hoping that delay just means better game.
Well, we can hope so, but what we've seen before is that delaying a game doesn't always mean that it's going to be good, because, you know, Cyberpunk took, 4 years to get good?
Oh, yeah. And even then, I don't think they really changed too much. They probably just... To what I see about Cyberpunk lately is all they did was just fix the biggest glitches of the game. And releasing the Edge Runners anime series got people realizing, like, oh, it was a bad game because of the glitches, and now that most of these are gone, there's actually a good story here that is worth trying out. So I don't. It's kind of sad to say that Cyberpunk was never a horrible game. It just wasn't finished.
Right, yeah. It was just it needs a lot of polishing before it became something like, maybe a little good stone you put in your necklace and you wear it around and stuff.
Which is actually a good it's a good thing we actually bring this up. Cyberpunk is already working on their sequel game.
No way.
Yeah, so I really, really hope.
Oh, sorry, my mic just hit.
Yeah, what the hell happened
there? Sorry.
I'm just really hoping that, for one, they learn from the mistakes of the past. I mean, Cyberpunk itself was announced years and years and years ago.
Right.
Like, I don't even remember what age I was. My brother was in middle school, or high school, when it got announced. And he's been out of high school for who knows how long.
That really put us into perspective.
Yeah. He was out of high school before I was in middle school. Let's put that into perspective.
Oh.
Yeah. So, man, he might have been out of high school before I was in elementary school. So, it's been a while. So, for one, I don't think we're getting Cyberpunk 2 anytime soon. But I'm hoping that if we do get Cyberpunk 2 eventually, let's just don't let it be like last time. Just learn not to listen to all the people on the internet saying, release it now. If it's not finished, we'll kill you. And it's like, but it's not finished. It's like, we don't care, release it now. And then you release it, and it's like, why isn't it finished? And it's like, oh, you were sending death threats. Just accept the death threats, okay? Just ignore the death threats. They're not actually real.
People sending those? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't send stuff like that. If you want things to happen right, don't send that.
Dude, the gaming community is so freaking toxic. It's like, fandoms in general are just scary. And now that I mean, Cyberpunk itself is like at a record high for Cyberpunk lately, in players. So they're already starting to build a fandom because of Edge Runners mainly. And so now that Edge Runners has created that fandom, Cyberpunk's fandom is just going to get scary.
Yeah, dude, I don't really like where everything is going with gaming in general. With just one thing I do not like is honestly some community aspect of gaming, because it seems that the more and more we get into these communities, the more and more we hate each other's communities.
Exactly.
So it just seems very violent. So I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with liking a game, but it's when you get into these like crazy communities, because there's no avoiding it with these communities. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, I want to enjoy this thing, but I hate the fandom. I've been watching a show recently, and I was like, I want to get my friends into the show, and I was like, we all need to get into this because I feel like everybody would like it. And they're like, I will think it probably would be good, but it's the fact that I hate the fandom for it. I'm like, you got to separate the fandom from anything, because the fandoms are always insane. It doesn't matter what it is.
Like, so according to their games and stuff, they're just extremists. Like,
exactly.
It's way cool to be so involved and collect things from a game, like you said. Like, it's okay. It's just when you go to this like extreme level of like that basically becomes your part of your life and your religion almost.
It really does. I mean, like, fandoms are dangerous in the sense of that, exactly that. It basically, you can't exist without it at this point.
Right.
That's usually how it goes. I mean, it's not that way for everything. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I don't exactly have a fandom, because I don't need my life to completely revolve around Zelda, even though it's my favorite game.
Right.
You know? Like, it doesn't really need to completely revolve around this. And it's the radicalist, like, kind of like, oh, we need to burn down McDonald's because they didn't release the Szechuan sauce from Rick and Morty or something like that. It's like, dude, do you remember that? That was bad. That was when Rick and Morty started losing a lot of their follower base just because of how crazy the fandoms for it got.
It's very disturbing to see people do so many things like this that are so extreme.
Yeah.
Especially for gaming too. Because in all reality, everybody, gaming isn't real life.
Yeah. I'm not trying to malign people. Like, obviously, enjoy what you want to enjoy. Just don't let it get out of hand. It's the same with, like, drugs. It's the same with alcohol. It's the same with a show. Just don't let whatever you are doing get so out of hand that it's scaring people.
Well, yeah, because it's not only affecting you. Think about the people it's affecting around you. Because it has to be treated somewhat like an addiction, because it creates that dopamine. We're going to get all scientific in here. It creates dopamine levels in your brain, rises it, and that's what you get attached to, blah, blah, blah. That's exactly the point. Treat it almost like a drug that you shouldn't do it 24/7. It's kind of like a recreational activity.
Yeah.
Right? So it's okay to love it. Do your thing. Don't hurt, harm, or do anything to other people in a very negative way.
No, it's scary. For a good example of like where it can get crazy is I heard recently of somebody that so obsessed with this is why a lot of people don't like Marvel nowadays, is because there's people like this. There's a girl who's so obsessed with Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. It's like a scary level of obsession, to the point where like she actually gets upset with people for liking the Winter Soldier as a character because she's the only one who's allowed to like it.
I mean, such an extreme parasocial relationship.
Oh yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's scary. I don't like the people who just like genuinely get upset over the fact that they like something, that they think that somebody likes something more than them.
It's that weird envious, just that like fire jealousy for no reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Obviously, there's probably something wrong, whatever, but I mean, there's always help.
Yeah. Well, let's try and move on from that, or else we'll talk about the entire podcast. It's not even a video game podcast anymore. Psychology podcast.
Yeah.
GTA 6 got leaked. Did you hear about this?
Oh, it's gross.
It's leaking. Okay. I thought you were gonna say something else. The thing is that the GTA 6, like, a bunch of clips were hacked off of Rockstar's database. And so they were showing like clips of like characters. They were showing clips of like testing out car physics and stuff like that. Everything looks pretty good. But then GTA got a bunch of pushback. And here's back to the toxicity of gamers. They got so much crap for this because an unreleased like version and clips of GTA 6 were released, and everyone was saying how bad it looked. It's not done!
Yeah, it's like, no duh.
You are looking at like an Avengers movie that hasn't gone through editing. What are you expecting?
Right. It's so pathetic, man.
And then it's like, what are you... I don't get it. Where are you supposed to, like, think that there's something supposed to be happening here? This wasn't even supposed to be released. This was hacked. And Rockstar themselves, they are pissed. They are pissed this happened.
They should be.
They're like, look, you guys aren't getting this game anytime soon. Understand that. GTA 6 is not coming out anytime soon. You want to know why? Because clearly, it's not done. Secondly, the fact that this got leaked, this benefits nobody. They were like saying, this benefits no one. And
like what's the point? Honestly, here's the thing. What is the point in leaking something?
It's
you ruin You ruin excitement, you ruin wonder, you ruin all that stuff that goes into making video games like come out so cool. Like you just get rid of everything. Like there's, I don't know, man. It's destroying. It destroys communities.
We'll get into the guy who hacked this a little bit. A little bit.
Get him, dude. Gross.
Yeah, we're getting in deep.
No.
No, we'll talk about this guy because he just straight up decided to choose chaos that day. But before we get into that, I want to just talk about like how other gaming companies, they, in order to back up Rockstar, they started showing their early development of their games. And so a lot of people like Last of Us and stuff like that, all these really beautiful looking games, even Horizon I think was one of them, they were all showing their early test footage and stuff like that, and it looks terrible. It looks awful because they're not fucking finished, and it's like these were never supposed to be seen to the public. They're releasing this to the public because, first of all, it's like, you guys are idiots. Nothing is going to look beautiful just because it's like everything has to start from scratch. Also, like every game looks like this in the beginning, every game, and it's like all these like really horrible low poly like things of like The Last of Us or Control, that Xbox exclusive game that came out recently. Like all of these really beautiful looking games and how trashy they look just to support Rockstar, and like you should not be getting this kind of crap because obviously everybody else who actually develops games understands that there's a fine point of where it needs to start.
Yeah. 100%, dude.
And even then, let me talk about something. If you're gonna really bitch about graphics, the GTA 6 leak looked so much better than all of the early test footage for all of those other games that came out in support. GTA 6 looked great. Okay, so I need people to cut it. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, cut it out.
Even though this is kind of old, and by now it's kind of already gotten like out of the loop, but it's ridiculous. Anyway, that GTA guy, the guy who leaked it, he just straight up decided to choose chaos because he's also being investigated by the FBI right now. I don't know if he's been caught. He's been investigated by the FBI because he also hacked Uber.
Oh damn!
Yeah, he's going after people, and nobody knows why. He's just like, I'm just going to ruin the internet today.
That's sad, man. I wonder who pissed him off.
Society.
His mom.
Society.
He had to go to bed without dinner. That's what.
Anyway, final news for the day, so we can move on into our actual subject. I don't think it's
goo.
Goo.
It's goop. Gwyneth Paltrow's website.
Actually, speaking of Gwyneth Paltrow real quick, I'm pretty sure I heard recently that one of her candles that smelled like her vagina exploded in a woman's face and caused severe burns. So, yeah. Now she just now her burns smell like Gwyneth Paltrow's pussy. Just forever cursed.
She's gonna wake up every night just.
Gwyneth. And Gwyneth is like, yes, it's me.
Well, you know what I want to make?
Yeah, what's up?
I want to make a candle that smells like the screams of dead orphans. What was that next piece of news that you had?
Yeah, okay. So the final piece of news is that Stadia... Google. Okay, I was right. It is Google. Google Stadia is shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
As if nobody saw that coming.
Ooh.
Everybody saw that coming. Google Stadia literally has, like... I think Google Stadia, in terms of, like, Destiny, had, like, 2 players.
Yeah. What was the point in playing it?
I think the only like benefit that people found to playing Destiny on like Google Stadia was using it for raid checkpoints. A lot of people were using it for raid checkpoints.
That makes sense.
But yeah, they're shutting it down. They're giving complete refunds for everything that people have bought on Stadia. So that's a good thing, obviously, because, some people are probably going to get a couple cents back.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to get... I don't think anybody's going to get money back for that controller that they bought. That sucks.
Yeah, hopefully that can be like or just connected to something else too, and you can just use it as a normal controller. I'm sure you can, but
it probably gets
that's
good.
just unfortunate.
Probably works as a good fire starter.
That too, yeah. Just turn it into some spark maker.
Yeah, that thing. Wow, who could have ever suspected?
I could have.
All right, well, let's move on into our games that we've been playing recently. Justin! Sorry, I don't mean to yell. You just make me angry sometimes.
I know.
Let's move on to our games that we... Oh, God damn it! Anyway, we're back. Well, Justin, what games have you been playing as of late?
Oh boy, let me tell you in this anime voice. Actually, so I've been playing, well, we have been playing Spider Heck a lot.
Yeah, we've been playing a lot of Spider Heck.
It's super fun.
And if it wasn't apparent from earlier on our talks of the news, we've also been playing a lot of Destiny, which is actually probably the reason why the podcast took a month to get out. Not to mention I also had a vacation.
I had a vacation.
We both had a vacation. Justin just got COVID. I was playing too much Destiny. It was a horrible mess. I gotta go over to the courthouse soon. It's all kind of...
what was that last part?
No, we'll figure out later. That'll probably be an announcement later. Anyway, so yeah, it's been Spider Heck.
I've been playing 7 Days of Die a lot too again. Yeah, I do that.
I know. I was thinking maybe we should play that soon. I was thinking about that today.
Oh man, I wish you would have told me, man. I would have played it. I want to play it.
I just I was just thinking about it today. I was like, man, if we don't have anything else to do, we should play it. Jeez. Yes, Spider Heck, Destiny. I've been playing some Valheim, which is really fun.
I tried to play Valheim with Brennan until it kicked me 5,000 times.
We had fun in between those moments.
We did.
We had fun.
Did have fun. We built a little cottage together.
Man, I don't think there's any other games I've been playing. What about you?
I've been playing a tiny bit of Apex Legends. Still sucks.
Yeah, I saw you playing by yourself. I was like, what happened?
Oh no, I was playing with a friend.
Oh, I see.
And a tiny bit of Risk of Rain 2. I just kind of hop in and out of some games every once in a while, but other than okay. I did start playing Slime Rancher 2.
Oh yeah?
Because I did enjoy the first one. I just think it's really cute. It's a cute game.
It's a relaxing one.
Farming, very relaxing. So I was playing that a lot. I pretty much beat it up to the point that I'm waiting for more to come.
There's nothing. It's not hard to beat that game.
No, it's very, very easy. But it's a fun, cute little colorful game. I think it's really cool. But, I've been playing a little bit of that. Well, played through it, really. Battlefield 2042 has gotten a lot of updates. If you haven't played it recently, very fun. A lot of the bugs are fixed, turning into a very good game. So that's pretty cool.
I guess they haven't given up on it.
No, they haven't, which is very nice. It's fun, though.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. I've been, just thinking about playing Slime Rancher, it just reminds me of, I've been really falling behind on my videos and stuff like that, so I've been trying to make sure that I get, a good back to the video making and stuff like that. I need to get all the videos that I have, video series that I need to record on my Xbox, so that way I could just move my Xbox out of here, out of my little office space, and just move it next to my bed or something like that, so I could just lay down and just have some relaxing Xbox time.
Yeah, dude.
Because I could do that with my PlayStation, but obviously I'm not spending money on a bunch of PlayStation games, so I only have 3 options for PlayStation games.
Right.
So yeah. Well, I think that's really all we have for the games that we've been playing section. Let's move on into our actual section.
Suction?
God damn you. All right, Justin.
Brennan.
Here's a little fun fact about today's subject.
Oh, please tell me that fun fact.
The fun fact about this subject is the only reason you're hearing it today is because we were supposed to show up on a different podcast and talk about this subject, and they just decided to ghost us. So, if they ever talk to us again, we'll figure that out. We'll figure something else out. I did a lot of research on this goddamn subject. I'm going to talk about it.
I forgot all of it. Brennan?
Good.
The floor is yours.
You'll probably remember it. So, we talked a little bit about this in a past episode with the worst games, I think it was. And so let's talk about Atari in 1983, Justin.
Oh, Atari. How I loved Atari.
So, the thing about Atari. Alright. Alright. So, our source for this subject today, not a whole lot of different sources, it's just one single source. We got this source we got all this information from the documentary movie from 2014, Atari Game Over. Game Over is actually a fun and also kind of cringy documentary. It's fun with the information. It's cringy because the guy who made the documentary is so unbelievably awkward. He makes everybody who he talks to uncomfortable.
Just like you to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so uncomfortable. Save me.
He tries making jokes constantly, and nobody can figure out if he's joking or not. It's really cringy. Any other point, it's actually really good information. So, fun thing about Atari. So, the ET game itself has a lot of mystery surrounding it. By the point that we are here in 2022, we know completely about the mystery now. The whole theory was that E.T. was so bad that they took the Atari game, or the E.T. game, and they just took it out into the middle of the Mexican desert and buried it to hopefully be forgotten.
Oh boy, were they wrong.
And no, yeah, so the whole point of this documentary is to just basically find out what happened to bring it to this point, and is this true? Like, is this game actually buried underneath the ground? Like, they suspected, like, millions of copies of this game buried in the Mexican desert.
That's so weird.
Yeah. It's actually this is also kind of just a really sad, story. I mean, like, this really is, like, this game is the death of Atari as a company. And the saddest part about it is it's kind of all one dude's fault. So obviously, yeah, the biggest thing that makes this game popular is not the game itself, it's the mystery, you know. The biggest problem with E.T. itself was probably just the ignorance of the people making it, you know?
Sure, I mean, yeah. Makes sense, especially for the time.
It was one dude who was working on this game. His name is Howard Warshaw. And this guy kind of just killed the company. Like, completely sank it. And I don't think anybody was upset at him for this.
Right.
Because there's more that anybody could have probably done to help him. He worked on this game seemingly by himself. Like, to my knowledge, in the documentary, it basically says that he did everything himself. And at the same time, this guy is also kind of the thing. He's the greatest thing and the worst thing to happen to Atari. He brings out a lot of games for Atari. in like the beginning. So he comes out with he's the reason there's a Indiana Jones Atari game. He didn't start the trend of putting Easter eggs in video games, but he was the person to make sure it kept happening.
Huh.
Because the first ever Easter egg in a video game was Atari, and I think the game was I think it was like Dungeon or something. It was something really simple, but it was the Easter egg with the single dot pixel that was hidden in a wall, and then you had to drag that dot all the way to the very beginning of the game to a wall, and then that dot worked as a key to let you pass through it, and then it was the developer's name.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that was the very first Easter egg in a video game, and Howard is the reason that Easter eggs kept going, because he made sure to kind of include Easter eggs in all of his games and stuff like that. So a lot of good things come from Howard here.
Yeah. Sounds like it, at least.
Another problem with Atari, most of the people there high as shit all the time. Literally everyone was high. They said themselves they wanted employees to feel like they can't tell the difference between work and play.
Oh.
Yeah. I think like his Howard's first day there, he was talking about his like first day there, and he wanted to fit in, so he walked in with a joint. And they all made fun of him because they could clearly tell that what he got was some really shit weed. And they're like, let me hit you up with some good shit. Another thing about Howard, he basically learned how to program video games on the job.
That's cool.
He knew kind of understanding of computers, obviously enough to get to the job, but they were asking him like, how did you learn to make video games? And he's like, oh, I got to my desk and they had an instruction manual. And so his ass just sits down and just starts reading a book. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to be the best thing that happens to Atari. And he did. He brought out a bunch of games. I wish I had a list of... I wish I wrote down the list of the kind of things that he brought. But, like, he brought out a lot of childhood favorites for people. The guy who mainly wanted to find out if this is a myth or not... it's this dude named Joe. I don't think they ever say his last name in the documentary. This dude named Joe. He's been searching for the game forever. And he basically narrowed it down to be in a landfill in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Okay.
And they also kind of narrowed it down that it's deep and it is covered with concrete. So they had like a... That was the really hard thing about finding this game, is they were supposed to keep good... they were supposed to keep a good, like... transcript of everything that goes into this landfill. They did not keep a great transcript. Barely anything for ET.
Huh.
So it was that's why it was like so difficult.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stops in the excavation to try and find the game, because of the fact that like the city of this city of Alamogordo, what is it called? Alamogordo.
I got my nuts.
Alamogordo was very worried that they might accidentally, like, there's a lot of radioactive shit over there. So they were worried that somebody was going to crack open some fucking radioactive materials buried right over the game. And not to mention, this was the desert, so a bunch of sandstorms were coming around and stopping the excavation for this game.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I'm gonna be jumping around. The thing about this documentary, I was a lot more prepared for this subject a long time ago, like about a month ago, when we were supposed to do it. And now my notes are just all jumbled over the place. but it also due to the fact that I followed the documentary and wrote down my notes as the documentary went, so I didn't forget anything. And the documentary is basically telling two stories. And it's telling the story of the dude trying to find the games, and it's also telling the history of why the game was so bad. Yeah. So, Howard, I just want to bring back that he had 0 prior experience in programming.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever he learned about programming, all there at Atari.
Very good. Which, honestly, Jobs should technically do.
It's pretty impressive. It's really impressive. Here's where the ignorance about this game comes into play. They needed it very fast. They needed it within 5 weeks. Because it
5 weeks?
This whole game was needed to be programmed and finished in 5 weeks.
Holy
Yeah. Let's take that into perspective. It took, 12 years for Cyberpunk to be done or something like that? Probably more.
That's insane.
So yeah, they needed to make a holiday debut. They needed it to be out by Christmas, So they only had 5 weeks of work on this. And the plan for the game actually wasn't bad. He described his thought process behind the game and what the actual final product was. The problem was it was just really poorly executed. It sounded fun, but when you actually played it, you realize, it's unbelievably difficult. Thing is, though, they got the green flag. They talked to Spielberg about this game. Spielberg was like, hot damn, I like this. Spielberg wanted the game to be more like Pac-Man. Which, honestly, they could have done. It would have been a lot more simple if they just did that. But, back to the ignorance, Howard wanted this game to be big. He wanted this to be his fucking, prized baby game. And so he wanted to go big. He had a tight time crunch. He just couldn't deliver. He tells about a typical game program for Atari. 5 months for Atari games.
Holy mama.
That's a lot, even for Atari,
comparatively to that, you have a month and a half compared to 5 months?
Yeah. It seems like it would be easy to do it for today's standards,
At least a game like that, yeah.
But, this dude learned from a manual.
Who's a manual?
Thank you. Thank you for that joke.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Howard literally worked on this game, night and day, 24 hours, just to make it within that time frame. This guy is running on 0 sleep for this game.
That's crazy.
His ignorance, he said it himself, his ignorance told him it was possible. Spielberg, like I said, Spielberg loved the game and he approved of the game. So we can also kind of blame Spielberg for this. Because he probably didn't play it himself. He probably just looked at it being played by Howard. And let's be honest, Howard made the game. He's probably a goddamn pro at it.
Yeah.
He should definitely stick to movies. Because, he kind of toppled an entire company because of his approval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in his defense, it's not necessarily his fault, right? He wanted something to come from his movie.
Yeah.
So,
I
think I would do that same thing, dude.
Howard had a good track record. He released the Atari adaptation of Indiana Jones, which was one of his most popular games.
Damn.
And so it was he had a good track record. There was a lot to say that Howard could pull this off. But Howard just kind of had too much big dick energy with this and totally fucked it up.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why this game was being buried, this was pretty much the first ever video game to be returned,
Ooh,
This, obviously, Atari's the first to really push out the home console. And this is a bunch of kids on Christmas Day.
On crack.
This is a bunch of kids on crack. There's a bunch of kids on Christmas Day who are just about getting the worst Christmas ever because they're like, E.T! And then they're playing it and it's like 10 minutes in and they're like, E.T!
Why?
They're like, kill me! So yeah, this is basically the first game to pretty much be returned back to the stores. They had nowhere to put this game.
Oof.
And, like, so now we're just like, what do we do with the AT's like panicking? Like, what are we gonna do with all these copies of the game?
Right.
And then right after ET getting sent back, horrible reviews on it. I mean, this game was getting trashed all over the news as one of the worst video games to ever exist.
Dude, I would bury my face so deep in my own ass.
I mean, this guy was destroyed. He never went back into gaming ever again.
Damn, that's
Instead of getting therapy, he actually became a therapist.
Oh!
Yeah.
Well, I guess the right idea.
He says that it was his dream. I mean, when you go from smoking weed all day and making video games, that seems like the dream to me.
Yeah.
And then going straight to, like, therapy and being like, hey, he has the perfect tool, though. Nobody can ever complain with him. He made ET. Okay. They're like, look, I'm having really horrible PTSD from the time I was in war. It's like, did you ever make Atari games? Did you ever play ET in 1983?
Screaming happens.
This guy has the best excuse ever. But yeah, Atari, just after ET got released, it totally went downhill. After it was released, I mean, Howard had no idea what was going on, and everybody in the company was like, hey, we don't blame you. We're so sorry about all the news. Just move on, man. We can get past this.
Oh,
and he's like, what are you guys talking about? And that's when he starts, like, figuring out, like, everything going down with ET. Oh my gosh, this guy is getting just railed on.
That poor man, dude.
His career was destroyed. I mean, like, this was the end for Atari, was because of this game. A lot of fun things came out of that excavation, by the way. So they did actually... The rumors are true. While I'm searching this up, the rumors are true. There were copies of Atari being buried in the desert.
That's crazy, dude.
Game Grumps, Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps, he owns one of those copies of Atari that was buried.
Really?
Yeah, he has a copy from that burial site.
That's cool.
I think he bought it for like $1,000, and it's probably worth more. How much is that worth now? Okay, a long-buried copy of the infamous Atari game E.T. is worth more than $1,500 now. The desert city of Alamogordo, New Mexico, finally sold off its buried treasure of ancient Atari games, racking in more than $100,000 just from selling copies of this destroyed copy of E.T.
Gosh damn.
Which probably just went into the city to try and, like, pay for roads or something. I don't know. Probably nothing exciting went towards the money. There is a factory sealed copy that was never buried, and that's worth $50,000.
Damn.
Wow, it is very difficult to find a copy that was actually buried. Most of these really average out to around $1,000. Unless it was like,
man, that's insane.
Unless it was a copy of somebody who never got rid of it and kept it all this time. Average about $10.
Jeez, man.
he put more effort into most games, but the main popular games that he was most known for was ET, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Yar's Revenge. Yar's Revenge, actually, he made himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Yar's Revenge is actually probably one of the more popular Atari games ever. And I think mainly the reason, they were talking about Yar's Revenge a lot, mainly the reason for Yar's Revenge was because he put a story to this compared to, like, other Atari games that don't have anything. He put a whole, like, story with it. I'm pretty sure it came with a comic book that told the story of Yar's Revenge. And then you get to play it, and it's like, oh, now I'm, like, really immersed into this game.
That's cool.
But then, that's... it's crazy to think about, like, when people were looking at this and going crazy over their graphics. Like, this is a screenshot from Indiana Jones. This was praised for its graphics.
Oh, there it is.
That was praised for its graphics.
Gosh.
Like, it's crazy what Atari meant to people back in that day.
Yeah, that is cool, man.
The thing that makes me so sad is the fact that I was never around when this was excavated. I think that would have been such a monumental gaming moment to be a part of.
Yeah.
I think, when was this? It's got to have been excavated around 2014 or something like that. Well, they don't. I can't figure out when exactly they found it. It was definitely buried within the same year, which is fast. Holy crap! Because if this was holy crap! Wait, no, hold on. Is this saying that it was buried in the same year, or is this just talking about ET when it was released? Because if they buried that game, if it got buried within the same year, it was a Christmas release. They had days to bury that, if I'm reading this correctly. Oh my gosh.
It's insanity, man.
Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. Well, I mean, like, hey, that's the story of E.T. I didn't expect it to go as fast as it did.
Yeah.
It didn't help with the fact that I'm a little bit jumbled on with my notes here, but it's crazy. I really think this is probably one of the most interesting video game artifacts that ever really exist. I mean, we were deciding on some different ideas of, like, video game artifacts, and I just don't think anything compared to the ET situation.
Oh yeah, definitely not comparatively like an artifact would,
Well, I mean, like, the only
is definitely an artifact.
Yeah, the only thing that I could think of that was, like, technically an artifact is stuff like the Virtual Boy or the Power Glove. I'm pretty sure the Power Glove is real, right?
I thought so.
I thought the Power Glove was real, and then the only reason I get so, like, back and forth if that was real, because that was, like, a huge thing in regular show. And I'm like, I'm not just thinking about regular show, right? No,
I don't think so.
The Virtual Boy was basically just like a strap full of cancer. I mean, it just destroyed people's fucking vision. Because it was the first ever VR system, basically. Let me find the Virtual Boy. Virtual. I'm surprised that Nintendo really still tries to acknowledge Virtual Boy.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's insane, like, it looks like a death trap. Let me just send you a picture of just moments before you put on the Virtual Boy headset. and it was attached to like a gimbal that rested on your table.
Oh, that is odd.
Yeah, and then
looks like a Star Wars character.
It does. This is like a screenshot from one of the games. I think this person is playing Mario Tennis.
Yeah, dude.
They're having a seizure while playing it.
What was the idea behind it? That's what I want to know. Like,
VR.
I thought that was a good idea. I know, but like,
I think
you're supposed to feel like you were right there.
I think this actually sparked a TV show. Like, the Virtual Boy itself, I think, sparked a TV show, which was very interesting. It was called, yes, it was a show called VR Troopers. I'm pretty positive that the Virtual Boy was kind of the inspiration for this. VR Troopers was a failed Saban show. It was supposed to be like a sequel show to Power Rangers. It's basically Power Rangers, but they get their powers from putting on VR headsets.
Oh, that's pathetic.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy show.
Every nerd's dream.
I mean, let's be honest, it's really hard to get very creative when it came to Saban shows, because I'm pretty sure Saban, like, stole everything that he ever did. I'm pretty sure that's, like, the big controversy with Saban, is that, like, stuff like Power Rangers was just a lot of the, like, 90% of the clips used in Power Rangers were stolen from a Japanese show.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was stolen from another show. Just Power Rangers got really popular.
Well, yeah,
they just dubbed over it.
And wacko.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, there's our poorly thought through explanation of the story of the Atari game.
They buried game. We found game.
We found the game. We must apologize. It is very late.
Late, and we're sick, and we're full of
We're so tired. I appreciate anybody who's been listening through this, because it's kind of been a shit show for us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking it is, but I am so drained from being sick and from working all day today.
Yeah.
And Justin's got COVID. We're both out of it. So thank you guys for walking through this with us. for getting us through this. If you listen to this enough times, you will probably be able to pay for my medical bills, which I'm going to need to go to the hospital after this. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. Check out the Digital Illusion Twitter account. Obviously, that hasn't been getting any updates recently, but it will now that we're back, baby.
We're back.
We're back at it. We'll try and get some really good content out for you. And it won't be a shit show like this one. You'll appreciate the effort. You know what? We're back. We're coming back strong. We got a fun little subject that we just talked about today.
Hey, Brennan.
Yeah.
Bye.
No. Check out Virtually Nerdy YouTube channel. You could do it, Brennan. Now. Yeah. What's up?
Bye.